Okay, are the Broncos putting together enough firepower on both sides of the ball, Phil, to make a run at an AFC West title?
Here we go.
If the signings of Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, and Evan Ingram hit, are the Broncos putting together enough firepower on both sides of the ball to potentially make a run at the division? Serious question.
Zach, the Broncos won 10 games last year. Now, people can say what they want to say. They were 1-8 against winning teams with winning records, and they got blasted in the playoffs. We haven't been to the playoffs since 2015. We were able to get there this year without a tight end, without a run game. The defense did great for most of the time.
Yeah.
Offense did really well. At times they sputtered out, but now you add pieces to the defensive side of the football. You add a couple more pieces to the offensive side of the football. And now that 10-win team this year moves up to maybe 11 or 12. Or that 10-win team wins another 10 games, but a lot more games that are won this year against teams with a winning record. And you're in the playoffs, and you start to make the noise. We have a chance to do that if we can stay healthy. This is all about health. All right, the players that we have acquired from free agency have had a record of being injured. So that's going to be an issue of concern. That's going to be something that we're going to have to watch. But if they can stay healthy, Greenlaw, Hufanga, Evan Ingram, we can make a run for that. We can make a run in the playoffs, Zach.
Yeah, I really don't see why not. Now these come with caveats.
For sure.
Okay, right? It's because with each of those, especially the two free agent signings from San Francisco, man, and this is why, like, if we're giving grades out, I can't give the free agent class thus far an A, but they deserve a good grade. I would go with a B+, but I think that when you have that real of injury history for both guys, I just obviously it's risk reward, and it's worth the gamble because the upside, if they stay healthy, is fantastic. But it's so real. The injury history is so real that I'll just be holding my breath here a little bit.
For sure. And also, these players were on other teams. Other teams were willing to let them go. There are reasons for that. Sometimes it's about the money. Sometimes it's about the health. Knowing a little bit more about that player, it's like, hey, we would love to have you, but your health-wise, you don't stay as healthy, we have to let you go. So just keep that in the back pocket. Like, these players were on other teams, and there are issues that go with these players, that come along with these players.
Right. No, that's a good point. It's like San Francisco wants great inside linebacker and safety play.
Yeah.
So there is a reason that they're available. Hey, we'll continue this conversation in 15 seconds. The Fan Flyaway is back for 2025 thanks to Embers Golf and 303 Law 4040. This time, we're sending one lucky listener and a friend to Kentucky for the most popular horse race in the country. You get 2 tickets to the race, round-trip airfare for 2 nights hotel stay, and $500. It's an incredible package. For more info and to register, head to thefanflyaway.com. Costs you $0. If you entered one of our previous Flyaway contests, you're already registered for this one. Once you sign up for one Flyaway, you're entered in for all future Flyaways. In terms of the conversation, and by the way, grades on these guys, ESPN graded like all these free agent signings, and I shouldn't say all of them because we don't have a grade for Dre Greenlaw yet from ESPN, but they gave the signing of Hufanga a B- with the caveat of, hey, this puppy has an upside of an A, kind of like what we were just saying, and the Evan Ingram signing, they gave a B. So good grades, not great grades, and I honestly think it's fair. And I think that the Ingram is maybe a B because you might have had to overpay him a little bit.
Overpaid him, and he was hurt. He was hurt this year, so I'll take it. I'll take a B. If my son gets straight Bs, maybe a B+, I will take it.
Are you kidding me?
Like, yes. That's winning. We're winning in the Lindsay household.
Yes, there is no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. What did you make of our crosstalk? Cecil was, well, he was just being Cecil.
Yeah.
Right? It's
big personality.
It's just like he's like out on Kansas City. It was like a little bit. It wasn't a little bit. It was big time, like dismissive.
Yeah.
And he's like, Kansas City is coming down. You only need to worry about Buffalo.
Yeah, it was just Buffalo, which I understand. Buffalo's in it every single year, but Kansas City, they were just in a Super Bowl for their 3rd straight time. Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens that got beat by Buffalo, but it was a good game.
Yeah.
We didn't beat Buffalo. We didn't beat Baltimore. And we beat Kansas City one time when their guys weren't playing. To me, Zach, it's like I love where Cease's head's at, and we should all be excited.
Oh, yeah.
We're bringing pieces on board. It's looking good on paper.
Right.
On paper, but you still have to play the games. I'll never forget my rookie year. I was watching NFL Network, and that's when the Browns went all in. That's when they had Landry. That's when they had the receiver that was with the Giants for a long time. OBJ.
Yeah.
That's when they drafted Baker Mayfield. And people were on the network were saying how this team could go to the playoffs and maybe be in the Super Bowl, and then they had to play the games.
Right.
It wasn't about paper. It was like, now you have to go out there and prove and play the games. And I think they only won 4 or 5 games.
They were horrible. It was
maybe 6.
Yeah. The same thing happened. Didn't the same thing happen in Philly a few years prior where they were calling it a dream team? They were calling the Eagles a dream team. We've seen this happen where it's a bunch of basketball players who, on paper, hey, it's Dwight Howard is going to the Lakers with Steve Nash to pair with Kobe, and it's like, and then they tip the ball off, and they're terrible. So no, for sure. And this isn't quite that. We know that.
No, but it's like, sometimes you have to still pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Things are looking great for us, and if things work how Sean believes and thinks they will work, we will be successful. If we can stay healthy like we have for the last 2 years, we will be successful. If Bo Nix takes another step forward, we will be successful. If Sean Payton takes another step forward, we will be successful. But there's a lot of moving parts in order to get to the mountaintop, because the ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl. Not just get there, not just get into the playoffs and just be there, but make noise and try to win a Super Bowl at some point.
Well, it's exciting that we're having these conversations.
Oh, yes.
From where the Broncos were 2-3 years ago to now, like, again, whether you agree with every jot and tittle of these conversations it's beside the point. The fact that we can have the conversations, that's the point. So it's exciting, man. I'm thrilled. I think the Broncos free agency is off to a really good start. Why weren't the Broncos in on Rico Dowdle? You see that deal?
Yes, I did.
1 year, $3 million with Carolina?
Yeah, up to $6 million with incentives. Like, I really don't get it. I don't understand it. Rico Dowdle has been a really solid running back in this league, and last year he was able to be a starting running back, went for over 1,000 yards. He's a tough runner. He can catch out the backfield. He doesn't cost as much. And we're not saying he needs to be a full-time starter.
No.
We're saying he's a bridge running back that can help the running back we decide to draft. You need more than 1 or 2 running backs in a full season, especially Sean. Sean likes to go through running backs like they're toilet paper. So you need to have a core of running backs that you can trust. So I don't understand why we didn't decide to make an offer. And maybe we did, Zach. Maybe we decided to make an offer and he didn't want to come to Denver. I don't think that would be the case. It's the Denver Broncos, and we're looking good. You got Bo Nix.
Yeah.
If it's between the Carolina Panthers or Denver, you're going to Denver.
Come on. But maybe he got a promise from Carolina, like, you want to be a full-time starter? This is where you go. That's not necessarily going to be the setup.
Well, Chuba Hubbard's over there. They just paid Chuba a lot of money, though, Zach. See, this is where I'm not understanding. So maybe the Denver Broncos didn't offer Rico Dowdle anything, and that's why Rico decided not to sign here. Sometimes we think that everybody wants a player. They have to fit the mold, and we don't know their secret recipe when they're in meetings and we're talking about the staff, and it's like, this is who we're looking for as a running back. And so maybe Rico was not on their list. Maybe it's a J.K. Dobbins.
Maybe. That's interesting. But when I saw the deal that low, I'm like, damn, I would have thought Denver would have been in on that. And you're right about the Hubbard deal. I didn't realize it's 4 years, $33 million. That is a real commitment.
He got it during the middle of the season.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a real commitment. So yeah, that's a little bit confusing, but you're right. We don't know how they're trying to make the sausage, and for whatever reason, there must have been something about Rico Dowdle that didn't fit their recipe.
One thing we all know, we need a run game.
No question.
And we need one right away, ASAP.
Let me ask you this. In that vein, you have been a big-time proponent here in the last couple days on who it was Monday and Tuesday, pretty sure.
Yeah.
Monday and Tuesday. You loved the idea of trading for Christian McCaffrey. All right?
CMC, C-Mac.
We kind of stumbled on that conversation organically. It wasn't even a plan, and the next day the entire market was talking about it, which is pretty cool. But the next day we talked about trading up for Ashton Genty as well.
Yeah.
And you would have been totally
I'm down
for that.
I'm down for it if, and I'm looking, and I'm trying to read Sean Payton's mind. If Sean Payton believes that he is the guy for the job and he can be the Christian McCaffrey or the Saquon Barkley, why not move up? If that's how you feel, if your feelings are that strong about a player, don't mess around. You've been burnt before, Sean, when you wanted Patrick Mahomes and you did not get him. So that's why I brought that up. It was like, hey, if you think Ashton Genty is the best running back in the NFL draft this year.
Yeah, if you think he's like a future Hall of Fame type caliber back,
then you go and get him to add to Evan Ingram, Cortland Sutton, Bo Nix, and maybe Cooper Kupp.
Maybe. We'll circle back to Cooper Kupp here in a minute because there's some smoke billowing between the Broncos and Cooper Kupp. I was against the idea of trading up, and I still am not in love with it. Trading up for Genty. Still not in love with it because of all the reasons we talked about a couple days ago. But your draft capital is the lifeblood of your franchise, and you haven't had your picks in years. And the last thing I want the Broncos to do is turn around and give more picks away.
Yeah, so you're saying we would have to give up a first,
yes,
maybe one next year or a second next year?
Oh, yeah, because we were talking about trading into the top 10.
Yeah.
You trade in the top 10 from 20, it's your pick this year, and then it's your pick next year, and it's going to take some more stuff too. It's probably a second and a fifth or something like that. It's going to be a big...
Throw it all in, baby.
See, and that was your mindset. Like, hey, no, this guy, he is that special.
Yeah.
And a recent in the last 20 years, remember I said, hey, what did the Falcons give up for Julio Jones? He said, I don't remember. Well, no one does. That's the point. Because when you get it right and the guy's going to the Hall of Fame, no one talks about what picks you don't have. So it makes sense and it lives within reality. So between those two, the option for Christian McCaffrey and trading for C-Mac, as the Niners are putting a stick of dynamite to their roster and guys are getting traded, cut, or that they're letting them walk in free agency.
You're not safe over there in San Francisco.
No, literally, they said to goodbye to like 14, 15 players.
Yeah.
So they're kind of hitting the reset button. Does Christian McCaffrey still fit in their revamped timeline? I would say no, he doesn't. He fits more in this timeline as the Broncos are ascending, and he's still in his 20s.
Yeah, he's 28 years old. Now, yes, he had a major injury because he was out for the rest of the year. I don't know if he needed surgery, but I definitely know that it took time to heal. It was something with his knee.
Yep.
And it was against Buffalo, man, in that cold game. It was a snowy game. Remember that? Josh Allen went crazy that game. And
that could have been any week.
But. Oh, yeah, you're right, huh? MVP. And Christian, landed on his knee and messed him up the rest of the year.
I do
remember that.
I think that's the game where Allen, didn't he throw like a touchdown to himself or something? It came back to him.
You know that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's Josh, huh?
Signature moment. So which of those two scenarios do you like more? If
I had to choose?
If you had to choose, and I'll throw this out to the RamosLaw.com text line as well, 303-713-1043. Between those two scenarios, what would you prefer? Okay? Would you rather trade up and draft Ashton Genty, or would you rather call the San Francisco 49ers and trade for Christian McCaffrey?
When you think of any player that's great, somebody had given them the chance. Somebody called them on draft night and chose them. C-Mac would be a great addition here. Born and raised, big name, still has a lot of left in the tank. Works his ass off, truly. But when you're talking about a running back and you're talking about somebody that you want to be here for a while, you got to go young. You have to pick your running back if you believe he's that guy. You have to pick him in the first round if you believe he's that guy, because you get him for 4 to 5 years, because you get a fifth-year option when you're a first-round draft pick. I would go the route if it was between CMC, Christian McCaffrey, or Ashton Genty. I'm picking Ashton Genty just because he's younger, because you can kind of mold him into who you want him to be It's like a fresh board with Ashton Genty.
Yep.
And you can create and put in his mind what he can be and build off of him. So I would have to go with Ashton Genty. Who are you going with, Zach?
It's tough. It's tough because there's just way more tread on the Ashton Genty tire.
Than Christian McCaffrey?
He's
yeah.
He's got way more tread on his tire.
Tread, yeah.
I mean, McCaffrey, his injury history is pretty significant at this point. But when he's available, he is flat out special. We think Ashton Genty can be special.
Yeah. Nobody thought Christian was going to do the things Christian did, though. They thought that he was going to be good, but not this good. Nobody thought Saquon was going to do some of the things he did this year. You knew he was going to be a really good running back.
Right.
But Ashton Genty is like that as well. Had a great college career, and especially 1 year.
I'm going to read this RamosLaw.com text. It says, does anyone realize that Genty played in the Mountain West? What did he do when he played against Penn State? He got shut down. He has potential, but he's not proven to be good against NFL caliber talent. Obviously, just my opinion, but I will be screaming on draft night if we do this. I'll say this. Look, it would definitely come with a risk, okay? But no risk it, no biscuit. And I would point you to September 7th, Saturday, September 7th,
yes, sir,
when Ashton Genty went up against Oregon, and he ran for 192 yards on nearly 8 yards a carry and got into the end zone thrice. So he's not just a Mountain West creation. And by the way, when he played against Penn State, he ran for over 100 yards. All right, but they were overwhelmed from a talent standpoint. You don't hang that on the running back.
No.
The running back, in a different way, is a dependent position as well. He needs an entire team in front of him blocking, and that was a talent discrepancy, a discrepancy that Ashton Genty himself wasn't going to make up.
Like, if people are saying that, they're just trying to put an excuse in there because they don't want us to pick Ashton Genty. Because I'll tell you what, CJ2K, Chris Johnson, he was not in the Power 5.
No.
He was at ECU.
Yeah.
My man went for 2,000 yards. One of the most explosive running backs out there. There are running backs out there that you can pick up in the late rounds, the early rounds. It's just about hitting on one that you truly believe in. You truly believe in. That's why I would pick someone and that's why I keep saying if Sean believes that Ashton Genty is that guy,
yeah,
then he should go out and do it. He has done it before. He has drafted Reggie Bush, first round, second pick in the NFL draft. He drafted Mark Ingram in the first round. So he knows what the running back looks like. He knows the type of running back he wants. And it's leading me to my next thing that I was going to say. We talked about Christian McCaffrey and trading for him, and that blew up. So let this name blow up now and be the first ones to talk about this, because this could be a possibility. It may live in more of the realms of reality, to be honest with you, because he's played with him before. He's coached him before. And the man that I'm talking about is Alvin Kamara. He's another one that's just like Christian McCaffrey. He's a joker's joker. Your joker's joker's joker. He has done a lot for this league. Sean Payton drafted him in the 3rd round. Sean Payton did a lot for that man. And I guarantee you, if Sean Payton said, hey, Alvin Kamara, would you want to be a part of this team?
Oh, there's no question, Phil. Do you remember what he said after the game when they played each other this year?
What did he say?
Come get me. Said, come get me.
Come get me.
But then the Saints turned around and gave him a big contract.
So Christian McCaffrey has one too.
Yeah, that's true. But Christian McCaffrey is a different level player than Kamara, with all due respect.
No. Go look at the stats, Zach.
What stats you want to look at?
Go look at the stats when it comes to receiving. Over 4,000 yards receiving. Christian McCaffrey the same. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's a better running. Like Alvin Kamara's never had a 1,000-yard season. Christian McCaffrey's been over
because Alvin Kamara. You want to know the difference? Christian McCaffrey is taking 90% of the snaps. Alvin Kamara is sharing snaps, as always. When he was with Mark Ingram, he was sharing. He was 50-50. And maybe it was 60-40 sometimes when it was Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. Alvin Kamara can run just as good as Christian McCaffrey. Alvin Kamara had 950 yards this year. Alvin Kamara can catch out of the backfield just like Christian McCaffrey. But it's about the opportunities. Christian doesn't leave the field. Alvin Kamara does. That's a fact.
I'm looking at Kamara's attempts. He gets plenty of attempts.
Oh, he's going to get his attempts.
I mean, 223 carries in 2022, and he didn't get to 1,000 yards.
220. The reason why Christian got to 1,000 was 300 plus. Go look at the stats.
He didn't have 300 plus. I'm looking at him right now.
What did Christian have when it came to 1,000 yards?
272 carries for over 1,400 yards.
Okay, 270. And what did Alvin Kamara have? 220. You said
223, and he didn't get to 900.
223.
223 carries.
And you have 270. Do you know how many more carries that it gives you an opportunity to get up there, man?
I'm not saying Alvin Kamara's great.
Alvin
Kamara's great.
But
he's not Christian McCaffrey.
You wouldn't want Alvin Kamara here?
I didn't say that.
Oh, you are.
No, I didn't.
And you sit here and said Christian McCaffrey you can get a third for. If he's not better than Christian, what can you get Alvin Kamara for? 4th
round pick, 3rd round pick, because he's got that big deal.
But you know what? I was sitting on my couch today, and I said, yeah, we have an owner that's the richest owner in the NFL. Let's be like the Dodgers. Let's go ahead and just pay for some of these players if you truly believe they can make an impact right now. So if you want Christian McCaffrey, you can have Christian McCaffrey. If you want Alvin Kamara, you can have Alvin Kamara because we have the owner to do it.
That's actually true. I'm not really going to disagree with that because you can make that salary cap it's like flubber. You're too young. You ever
I know flubber. Don't disrespect me now.
No. I was about to say, have you ever heard of GAC?
I feel like I have.
Hey, guys behind the glass. Have you guys ever heard of GAC? Like the toy GAC? It's like
silly putty?
Yes. Yeah. It was like a silicone squishy. You could do whatever you want with it. It was like from the 90s.
It was in a tube, right? It was in a tube.
I think it used to come in like a star type thing, I think.
I think it did. Yeah, wasn't that like Flex Seal before Flex Seal, basically?
But it was a toy for kids, though. GAC was like a toy, but it was, you could manipulate. You could do whatever you wanted. You could stretch it around your wrist. You could stretch it out and like wear it as like a thing on your head. Like that's what you can do with the salary cap when you're as liquid, to your point, as this Broncos ownership group.
And the only thing with CMC is he's coming off of an injury. So he missed pretty much the whole year. Alvin Kamara was healthy the whole year, so he's healthier right now.
Yeah,
we don't know about CMC in the injury.
But even with this Alvin Kamara scenario, you would rather trade up for Genty?
Yeah, if it became Alvin Kamara Genty, I'm gonna choose Genty. But what I'm saying is there's still another joker out there. If it's not Christian McCaffrey, it could be Alvin Kamara.
Sure. And I'll say this, since you threw in an option in addition to the two that I presented, I'll throw in another one. If you're going to lay out, hey, you can do the following things. Trade for Christian McCaffrey, trade for Alvin Kamara, or move up in the draft for Genty, I would rather, of all those scenarios, just stay at 20 and draft Amarion Hampton. Not trade assets. Not take on big contracts.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I like that young man too.
Yeah. All right. Fun